2a. Find the sum of the areas of region R and S. You have to make sure that you get the intersection, because if you see over here, for region R, g of x is on top of f of x, while region S is going vice versa, so you have to look for the intersection. And so we're going to say Ex equals x, and we can use the calculator, so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to plug in f of x into the calculator, and we're going to do the same thing for g of x. Minus 6.5x squared plus 6x plus 2. And make sure the window setting of the x value goes from 0 to 2, which is going to make your graphing look way more clear. So once you graph this, you're going to see this is f of x, and what's going to come right after. So this one is g of x. So now you see the intersection here, right? That's what we're going to get right now. Make sure to know how to get the intersection using your calculator, because you're going to need to know how to do it. And so then you can see the intersection happens when x equals 1.03283. So write this down just in case. 1.03283. And so now we're going to get the sum of the two areas. You have to say it comes from 0 to 1.03283, and over here g of x is on top of f of x, so what you have to say is g of x minus f of x dx. Then you add this by this region S, so what you do is 2, because it goes to 2, and say this for the region S, f of x is on top of g of x, so you're going to say g of x minus f of x minus g of x dx. So now this is going to be pretty complicated because the functions are pretty long, and so but you're still going to have to do it. Plug in g of x, 6.5x squared plus 6x plus 2 minus 1 plus x plus e to the x squared minus 2x power, and x 0, it goes from 0 to 1.03283. So now wait for the values to come out. It says that it's 0.99747. So now then do the other half. So f of x minus g of x. So it's going to be 1 plus x plus e to the x squared minus 2x minus x 4 power minus 6.5x squared plus 6x plus 2, and it's going to go from 1.03283 to 2. Wait for the values to come out. 1.00692. So if you add these two values, it's going to be 2.004, rounded to the 100,000th place. Now let's move on to part B. It says once you see the question, you can spot right away that it's looking for the cross-section, and it's looking for a solid whose cross-sections perpendicular to the x-axis are squares. So make sure to note that area of square is s squared, side squared. And the only thing you have to know is for region S, so we're only going to care about this part. So now you have to say that it goes from 1.03283 to 2, and f of x minus g of x, f of x minus g of x. But we have to make sure that it's squared because this is what we're doing right now. So if we get this, we have to plug in f of x 1 plus x plus e to the x squared minus 2x minus x to the 4 power 6.5x squared plus 6x plus 2, and you have to make sure you did square the whole entire thing. 0.032832. So I guess there's a parenthesis issue over here. If you wait for the result to come out, it says that it's 1.283. So this is going to be the volume of region S. So now let's move on to C. It said let H be the vertical distance between the graphs of F and G in region S. So then we can say H of x equals F of x minus G of x. And it's looking for the rate at which H changes with respect to x when x equals 1.8. So we can say H prime of x equals to F prime of x minus G prime of x. And we are looking for when x equals 1.8, so plug in the value right away. And just because we don't want this calculation to get any more complicated, we're just going to derive both functions right away first, then move on to the next section. And so derive f of x. So I'll plug in the function value. And do the same thing for g of x. We're going to derive g of x. So the 4 power minus 6.5x squared plus 6x plus 2. And now what we're going to do is copy the thing. This is the derived function, and plug it in. Just paste it. The same thing for the other function. Copy and paste. And we're going to look for the table value. Then we can see that f prime of 1.8 is 2.1163, and g prime of 1.8 is 5.928. So let's do it right away. 2.1163 minus 5.928. It's going to give us negative 3.1812 when round to the thousands. So here goes the answer.